Hello everyone, welcome back to another really quick tutorial. Today I'm going to be speaking about aged pipeline. It's a term that we use to help measure the health of our pipeline. I'm going to explain the definitions to you and also help you identify your opportunities that might be aged and how to update them. So when we look at the pipeline, there's a number of key performance indicators about the size and the health of what's in there. And aged pipeline happens when opportunities become old, overdue and out of date. There's two ways that we can define aged pipeline. The first is by the dates. So when you enter an opportunity, you can put in the decision due date, which is when we're going to be hearing back about who's being awarded the work. And then you can also have a commencement date. Sometimes these are in one and the same, but sometimes you can hear about the decision and then commence a month later. When we look at the opportunities, some of these decision and commencement stage are overdue. And this really affects us in that when we look at the pipeline and we try and make business decisions based on when demand is happening, i.e. when our clients are looking to commence work from us, we use these dates. These are really critical. So you can imagine if we have a lot of dates in there that are past due, we're not really making good business decisions because the data that we're using this to do is not great. And so we identify what opportunities do have past due dates, and you might receive an email or a notification about getting these up to date. The second way we can monitor aged opportunities is via how long it's been taking to move through the different phases of pipeline. And particularly when you get to the end of the pipeline, which is proposing or closing, we do look at things that have been sitting at those statuses for more than 3 months or 90 days, because this is a really good indicator if opportunities have potentially gotten cold and people have not updated them to either disqualify or a win or a loss. So again, we need to make sure that we're moving things through the pipeline, particularly at that end status, at that status 4 and that status 5, which is proposing and closing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into iPal to show you how to identify and edit these directly in the system. I won't go through in any great detail how to search for pipeline because I have covered this in other tutorials. So if you are looking for more information with regards to other elements that you don't see here today, have a look through my channel. I'm going to use the quick link that I have highlighted in the past, and this will bring back all of the pipeline that I'm involved in. And what you can see here is a usual default view will be these tiles. However, these tiles don't tell you a lot about the dates. They just give you a very nice overview of the high-level information. But what you can do here is change your views. And this view I particularly like for looking for dates. You can now see that all of my pipeline has come back in a table format. And if I scroll over here, I can actually see the decision due date on these opportunities here. They're aged, and these are the ones that we're referring to when you get an email or an alert saying you've got aged pipeline. Just as a little side tip, you can also export that list into Excel, print it out and hand it to someone if you wanted them to make manual edits that you could make at a later date. I'm going to double click on this and we're going to edit this opportunity straight away. So this will bring you back your form, and I'm going to select the edit button because that means that we can now go in and change the fields in the form. So, excuse me, to get to the dates, you need to scroll down here and you can see that August and September are the dates that I've said the month is that the decision is due and when the project would commence. But we're now in October, so these are overdue. So what I need to do is select a new decision due date month, which might be this month, and then a new project commencement month. Now I'm going to select October as well. This pop-up appears because what it's asking is it wants you to distribute the value of the opportunity over the time that you've entered previously, and you can see here I've entered 10 months previously, and my new project commencement date of October. A really great little quick cheat is that you can just distribute this evenly, or if you wanted to, and if the profile is going to be significantly different to an even profile, you should come in here and manually enter these, but I'm just going to select distribute evenly for now. This is where we get our phasing from. So this is where we say when we've got a weighted qualified pipeline of X value to be delivered in this quarter, this is exactly what we're using to make those calculations. And it's the same for sold work. So it's really critical that some of the biggest calculations or the most important ones that we make from pipeline are made using these dates and these fees. So now I've corrected my dates, I can hit save, and that will record that opportunity's new dates, and you've now updated that. That's fantastic. But there was another category. What we discussed at the top of the session was aged, not progressed, which means that you haven't moved from either proposing or closing in the last 90 days. And it's important to differentiate that we don't put any time expectations on when you're pre-qual, targeting and understanding needs. And the reason is we understand that opportunities can take some time to come to market and some time to come to fruition. So in those categories, you have an amnesty. You will not be measured for your timeliness. But in proposing and closing, you will be measured for your timeliness. And if it has been there for a long time, you probably will receive an alert. There's no quick and fast way to know how long it's been sitting proposing and closing other than to go to this history button and have a scroll down. But I would recommend that you are looking through your pipeline at least on a weekly, if not a monthly basis, to make sure that all these statuses are up to date. So if this opportunity is still live, that's fine. Leave it as a proposing or closing. But what I'd recommend that if your opportunity has potentially gone cold or the client's gone quiet or there's some leadership changes or political changes, you can come down here and select this outcome, lost, no work awarded. The good thing about selecting lost, no work awarded is that you can always come back into the entry if the client comes back at a later date and bring it back to proposing or closing or targeting even. So you can reliven essentially that opportunity. However, if you choose disqualified or lost to a competitor or even won, it's not as straightforward to bring an opportunity back. In some of those categories, you can't do it at all. So what I'd recommend is you always come in here and either select disqualified if you know truly that the opportunity is no longer around, or if it's lost or competitor, that's an obvious outcome. But choose lost, no work awarded. That's the great outcome for where we're not sure where it's going to land. And again, you just hit that outcome and you press save, and that will record that for you. So this is why it's really important to keep this information up to date. We do use this a lot in our analytics and our the insights that we're trying to derive from the pipeline is all usually based on the dates and the fees, and we need to make sure that they're up to date and that we're removing all of those opportunities that are cold and are no longer progressing out so they don't cloud our numbers. I hope this explains to you why this is really important and how to do this. As I said, I do have other video clips in my channel, so if I haven't covered something, have a look through, or you can always reach out. Thanks for listening, guys.